Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's up, man?
Hey, it's going well. So did you say you're interested in modern coaching, or which format did you say?
I didn't give a format. Honestly, I kind of just want like more like fundamentals type of stuff. I mean, I'm down. I have standard decks on Arena. Down for limited. Yeah. I mean, Avatar's coming out soon, and I mean, standard just got like completely revamped. So I don't really care either way, to be honest.
Okay, sounds good. So it's just like fundamental stuff. So yeah, usually the main two types of coaching is sometimes people will come as a replay and we look at the game and discuss it, or maybe there's abstract stuff. I don't know if you have any abstract questions. Also like, or if you just, have a replay you want to look at right off the bat, or what you want to add to that.
Let me see. I played in how do you say last month's Arena qualifier, and I had some good matches there. But I actually don't know if they're on this computer. Honestly, I'm good to just like go through a draft or just like play some games and just like talk with you. I guess honestly the abstract stuff's interesting to me too. I feel like at least for me, like I've hit like a pretty big plateau in terms of like actually improving at the game. I feel like I've just been like jamming games without like really any direction on like how to get better. So hearing more about like maybe how you've improved at the game like over time, like maybe the things you do that make you better. I would like to hear about that, and maybe we can talk about it more like in context of a real game format.
Yeah, I would say definitely, if any, yeah, if we look at some replays, sorry, I just got distracted because I was just put up the stream. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, like if we watch replays, definitely, it's pretty unlikely. I mean, it'll be pretty productive because I'll probably find a lot of mistakes in it, and if I don't find mistakes in it, then they'll probably be the next Seth Manfield or whatever. I would say that it would be better if, like, I don't know if you have any draft logs, like doing it. I would say I would prefer to like look at replays or like draft logs compared to doing it live because like a lot of decision points it might take 1, 2, 3+ minutes to talk about. I mean, we can do it live if you want, but it can be pretty hectic. Like if you play a game live, like a lot of times I'll want to like pause and be like, let's talk about this turn, and it might take 2+ minutes, and you can't really do that in a live game. So it can be kind of hectic if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
I understand what you're saying.
so yeah, I mean, we could definitely look at draft logs. I think the last coach, like, yeah, I streamed the last coaching session I did, and for the pack one pick one, I think I like ranted for like 30 minutes to talk about like the whole philosophy of pack one pick one or whatever. And like, I think I opened 17 lands, and then I tried to explain how the data works and whatever. So um, it can be more relaxed if it's a replay. I don't know if you have any draft logs ready, but that could be good direction. I don't know if you have any the next events you want to participate in. I guess that could inform the format. But yeah, if you have any replays, we could
Yeah.
look at it. Like definitely, if you
Okay.
pull up any replay, it can be good. Or yeah,
Let me let me turn on my like laptop because I know they're on there. I might just switch to my laptop and we can go from there.
that sounds good.
Um,
Yeah,
did you play much of Spider-Man?
I actually don't know any card in that set really, so
That's
no.
awesome.
But I know most of.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, well, the only reason I was gonna think about the qualifier, but there was an Arena Direct the same weekend, so I'm like, I'll just play the Arena Direct instead. Um, yeah. So
Would it be like, do you like not want to look at that then, or what do you want to do?
I would say it would be not my. It would probably be the like one of the weaker formats I could look at because I just wouldn't know that much of the cards. I mean, I could still say stuff if you want to like look at it in particular. Like if you like have games you want to look at in particular, I could probably still find stuff to say about them, but I wouldn't. I don't know that much about the format in particular. Um,
Okay.
I know most of the limited formats, like anyone that you had to draft. I know most of the limited formats, just not that one. I would say.
Yeah.
But I could still like if you're like, oh, I want to watch like my win and in game that I lost replay, then I could probably still find things to talk about in it, even though I didn't play the format. But yeah, I would uh, probably not my strongest, one. I would say. Um, yeah, I don't know if you drafted any other recent formats or have other replays on 17 lands or whatever.
Let me see if I have cube drafts. I mean, are you familiar with the cube?
Yeah, I mean, I would
That
say
was the other one I was
I'm
playing.
more familiar with Cube than Spider-Man. I mean, I guess we
Yeah.
can just get it. Like, I'm not a Giga Cube expert, but I've watched LSV videos. So I have an idea of what's going on there. So we
Yeah, I
can
mean,
look at
like
it.
I said, like fundamental stuff is more what I care about. I just need to let me reset my stupid 17 lands password. It's annoying because I play a lot of Magic on my laptop on my PC right now, so it's like everything's like kind of split, you know.
Yeah, it makes
There
sense.
you
I
go.
mean, I would say if you're hitting a plateau, just like looking at your replay. I don't know. Have you tried looking at your own replays before? Is
Yeah,
something?
it's like how do I say? I feel like it's weird because I mean, at least for me, like I play a lot of like I prefer paper to online, so I feel like online I'm not nearly as locked in as I am in paper, you know. So it's like I'll look at something online and be like, oh, I mean, yeah, that was a mistake, and then just move on with my life. But like when I think about paper games, it's like, oh, maybe I could have done X, Y, Z different, but obviously you don't have recordings of your paper games very easily, right?
Yeah, that makes
Um,
sense. I mean, I would say like I think it's can feel easy to get out of a plateau when you look at replays because like when you look at replays, as you said, it's very easy to notice a lot of mistakes. I think.
yeah,
So obviously, if you like look at your replays and you're like, oh, obviously I made a mistake because I wasn't trying, then it can be harder. But I feel like it can be a fast way to climb out of feeling like you're in a plateau. Like if somebody says that, I'd be like, just watch your own replays and you should be able to notice how bad like how many mistakes are happening. Um,
so
Otherwise, I can help. Yeah, guide
I
through
actually
them.
did
Yeah,
find something. Um, I did the MH3 Direct.
yeah,
Um, I have it on 17 lands. We could look at the sealed pool and then maybe the games. I only did 3 games of the deck, but
yeah. We
maybe that
can
would
look
be
at it.
something.
We can look at the sealed pool for sure, and the games. Sealed's a pretty
Yeah,
relevant format now, as the arena directs all the time. So.
for sure. So how do you want? Should I just share my like 17 land screen or what?
Yeah, the 17 land screen can work. We'll see if it's like clear enough. But yeah, if you screen
Yeah.
share, I guess I'll. Okay, so
I had a really hard time with this pool.
yeah,
Um,
is there like a
I can
click on the deck export? Yeah, you could like
yeah
bring it
yeah.
to. Do you know the website Sealed Deck? Oh yeah, it's right, a plugin. Okay, that's
Oh,
handy.
I've never done this.
Yeah, this is. I
Why
usually
not?
use this to build the sealed decks. You can sort it by like color, rarity, whatever.
How about
Uh,
can I just send this to you and then you can mess with it?
yeah, I guess I could pull that up on my own screen. Sure. Yeah, you can send me a link to it.
Let me like look through the cards again. I remember having a hard time, but I forget exactly what I was having a hard time with.
Okay, so yeah, I mean we could talk. So let's see. I mean, are you like very familiar with Modern Horizons 3? I don't know, like if you've like played it a
I'm
lot or
very
you're very familiar.
I
You said. Okay.
I'm not very like I
Oh, you're
played a
not.
couple, but like I'm not the goat, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Modern Horizons 3 is kind of a weird sealed format. I would say, one thing about like fundamentals is every formats do kind of have unique stuff. Like I think last week somebody was
Yeah,
asking me, oh, should I tend to stay open or do I need to know my lane early in draft? And I was like, well, it actually kind of depends on the format at hand. So a lot of these like rule like, a lot of like things can depend. And I would say Modern Horizons 3 is actually kind of a bizarre format, not to be like too abstract, but like the Eldrazi are kind of like I would say one thing about formats I guess you can think about is color balance, and it
yeah,
can be kind of unhelpful because people like want to like believe like they want to like believe in a narrative of color balance too much, if that makes sense. Like people want to like be like, oh, green is the best, whatever. But I would say it does matter to like consider balance a bit, and this is like definitely green is like very unbalanced in the format, especially like Eldrazi. Like a lot of people know the
yeah,
meme of the right. What? Yeah, you have two of them here. The Chrysalis. Like you don't want to get too carried away. You always want to think about like things in context, but like obviously, I don't know if you know, like look at 17 lands data, but this is like has like top five. It's like probably the highest win rate common
yeah,
of all time. So anyway, I guess what I'm saying is the Eldrazi are kind of unbalanced in the format. It's like hard not to be green, but like it can happen, I guess, depending on the pool.
yeah,
So I guess that's kind of where I'm starting from. I mean, yeah, the first thing I usually look at the lands and the mana. So I guess
yeah,
I don't know how applicable like this does. It's not always every format, but yeah, you have these weird tri lands. You have a few tri lands. You have this rare. It's actually kind of like low because these are commons. Like on average, you probably have
yeah.
like four or five. You have these
I
weird.
was having trouble with the mana in this pool
Yeah, you have these
for
weird
sure.
dual lands. I mean, Modern Horizons 3 is a very weird format because of. I mean, these aren't fixing, so I guess I won't slide them. But sometimes I guess like one of the things I do in sealed is I just like kind of drag the cards that I think are like above average that pull me to a color. Like I don't pull
Yeah.
all the playable cards unless it like so it's kind of contextual, but I guess like sometimes like somebody might like I don't try and pull cards that I just think are just like playable, if that makes sense. But I guess I would say Modern Horizons 3 is kind of a weird format where like half the cards are unplayable. So actually a card being playable is kind of good, if that makes sense. But I guess like for example, like Void Pouncer, I'm not going to pull it into red because it's not really like drawing me in. So I guess I'd be like Disciple. Yeah, the card's kind of good. This card's kind of good. This is like in the middle. Like I'm not embarrassed to play it, but it's not like pulling me in.
Wait,
But it's
can I pause you for a sec?
yeah.
Can you share your screen so I can see like what you're looking at?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, let me share my screen here. Screen. Let me see that I have the right one. Okay, it's this one, I think. Okay, yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like yeah, so I would just start like so I guess if it was me, Modern Horizons 3, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna be green like 80% of the time. I don't know what it is, 70% of the time. So I'm just gonna start pulling out the green cards. So I'm like, it's just from the top to bottom. Like, yeah, this card I'm happy to play. This card I'm happy to play. This card I might play. I mean, I don't know exactly how to evaluate it, but I think like I guess I don't want to go too much into the nuances of my own evaluation, but like this is a card that looks good to me, but I might overrate it. So I'd be like, okay, it's fine, but not, this card's pretty powerful. This card's pretty powerful, pretty good, contextual. It's fine. I don't know if it's a pull. I put it here. Like it has good data, I think. This card's, like this card's kind of good, but not really a pull. So like this card's kind of bad. And like Gift of the Viper, I got slowly higher on these. So like maybe you want to play one or two. And also, yeah, things can be contextual because like a card like Lie Number, I mean, I guess it's probably worse than it looks, but there's some decks it could be good in. Then Chrysalis, I'd almost kind of be like a red card. So it's actually your green's not that deep. They're like 5 cards. Part of why this is helpful is like it's good and limited to be like, why am I in this color? And like you don't want to be like, oh, I have playable, so I'm in the color. You have like 5. Like this card's not even that. Like this card's just kind of okay. And then like I mean, this card I'm kind of happy to play. I don't know. Maybe I'll put it here. Anyway, so then red. Red is kind of, I mean, this card's kind of okay. This card's kind of okay. This card's kind of okay. The Thrasher's kind of nice. I don't know. Again, like, there is kind of a distinction between, like, this card's okay and this card's pulling me in the color. Like, this card is kind of, especially when it comes to splashing, I don't know, this card could be playable, but to advance one of the best rares in the set. Playable, but whatever. I guess one thing about Modern Horizons 3 that's weird is that there's like so many different themes. So like this card's like good if you're in a draw 2 deck, but otherwise it's very fillery. Yeah, I mean, like it's awkward because like your best black cards are double black. You don't really want to play them. Yeah. Then your blue looks kind of deep, so maybe it's some sort of a teamer deck. I don't know. I guess I'll pull this here. This card's okay. Again, like this is what I mean. Like Utter Insignificance is a card that's like playable, but it's not like pulling you in necessarily. Like. And I guess it's kind of contextual and sealed because like the weaker like I mean there's a lot of things going on in sealed, but like sometimes like if you have I guess one way to look at sealed and look at limited is I guess through the context of like I guess there's like a couple lenses, but one is like is something worth a full card? Because I guess a big way that you can get an edge in sealed, or a big mistake I think people make, is people will play a lot of cards that are like what I would call not worth a full card. So what I mean is like let's say there's a card like that says like create a 1/1 token. Anyone knows that like 1 mana make a 1/1 token is not worth a full card. It's like worth like half a card or whatever. But in sealed, kind of like a lot of cards are actually kind of like that. So like a card that's like I don't know if there's an example here, if there's a good example, but I would say yeah, a card like this card, for example, Hexgold Celeste, is like kind of what I would call 0.75 of a card. In terms of impact, like I would say in terms of impact, and it's kind of a weird concept. So like and it varies format to format, but what I would mean by a card's impact is, I guess one way you could look at it is like, let's say somebody says a lot of sealed is going to be about bombs, removal, card advantage, and not as much about synergy. So if you look at a card like Hexgold Celeste, and you'd be like, let's say I think the game is going to be won by like more like bombs. Like my opponent's going to play uncommons or rares. I'm going to play uncommons, rares. I'm going to need removal. I'm going to need card advantage, whatever. So you look at a card like this, and it's like, basically what I mean is like, if your opponent plays a good bomb, this list card is not going to have an amazing impact at fighting it. Now, obviously, this is why things are so contextual, because what if their bomb's a 13 mana Eldrazi, then it's good, and there's inherent power in curving out. And this card is actually like one of the better, what I would call not a full cards. But I guess my very basic point is that if your opponent plays a good uncommon or rare, this card has a low impact against it. So and let's say ideally, so I don't know, it's kind of hard to articulate that point, but I guess like you kind of see what I'm meaning. Like I'm trying to think of cards like, let's say like a removal spell, like a Terminate is kind of equal to like 0.95 of a card, because you can imagine most cards have card advantage when they enter. And then like how do I define this? Like it's kind of like a weird concept, but I guess kind of what I mean is that like the cards that matter in sealed tend to be like higher impact, and if you play too many low impact cards, you're just going to lose. I mean, I can give an example from a format, Thunder Junction OTJ. I don't know if you are familiar with that set at all, the Cowboy set. Have you like played that set at all?
I'm not
okay.
familiar with it. No,
Okay, I would say that's like a good pure example of what I mean by this, and why like OTJ is a good example of you get very punished for playing cards that seem like normal cards. So like what happened in that format was that there's so much card advantage, so much 2-for-1s. You know the card Rogue Refiner?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. OTJ has like almost every common has a Rogue Refiner. And like literally like just like there's a common that's like a 3-mana 3/1 that draws a card when it enters, okay? And
wow.
And there's also a common. And there's like basically a ton of them, because they also have a lone they have one in like every color basically. And basically what that means is that if you play that format and you just try and play a generic, like you play a 3-mana 4/2, it's actually, you're not getting a real card. You're getting like half a card, because most of the time your opponent's gonna play it like a Rogue Refiner, like a District Guide or a Rogue Refiner or whatever. And now you play a 3-mana 4/2 and they played that card, and you're just behind, and like nothing happened, because what's like normally seems like a respectable card is worse than less than half a card. So I guess kind of what I'm saying is like when so many cards in sealed can provide card advantage or bombing effects, cards that seem like they're actually that they should be worth a card are worse than less a card, and that happens a lot to like vanilla creatures. But it's kind of contextual based on the rate of the card, because I mean I don't know, it might be too abstract, but like part of the thing in Magic is that there's, I guess you can separate limited kind of in like a lot of categories, and one of the categories is like rate and curve. Because like what I mean by people get carried away is a lot of times people will be like, oh, you know, Rising Chrysalis, whatever, is a very busted card, but it's a busted card in the context of that like what the rate, like it's a pushed rate. And I guess what I mean is a lot of times people will take a card that's a pushed rate and they'll take it too out of context. So like somebody might be like, Rising Chrysalis is really busted, I need to play it. But then they'll build a deck and their overall deck is weak. And then it's like, okay, you have a strong card, but you're giving too many trade-offs to play it. So I guess what I'm saying is like it's hard to give like a whole philosophy of sealed, but like I guess what I'm like a good way to put it is something that I realized happened in limited was like I would draft bomb rares. And then like this happens sometimes, you know, when you have a rare in your hand and you're like, oh, I don't know if I should play my rare because what if they have removal, or I should hold my rare for later, right? You know what I'm talking about? Like you said, yeah. So that's a situation, and I realized kind of the proper way to evaluate that situation is be like, the reason a rare is good, it's not just because it's like good in itself. It's because it's like a fit, like for some reason it's pushed on a rate. You know what I mean? And like, so you could be like, if I don't play my 2-drop on turn 2, then I'm inherently like getting behind on rate. Okay, I can give a good example sort of what I mean, because there's a lot of ways this is coming from. So like what I would say is just the value of curve, I guess. So I guess let me see, like what I mean, like let me see how to put this. So like when this applies less to draft and like, I mean less to sealed and more to draft, but I guess it can apply to draft. So like when you're drafting a deck, I feel like there's kind of 3 main things that are happening. Number one, when you're evaluating, like there's 3 things you should consider when you're considering picking a card. One, I would say, is cohesion of the card in my deck. So like an example of this is like, you know, if you're playing a, what does this say? Modified. If you're playing a modified deck, Lion Umbra, you know, the value of Lion Umbra goes much higher. Whereas if you're playing like not, or I guess I would say like for constructed, like use constructed as an example. If you're playing a control deck, Supreme Verdict is cohesive in a control deck. Whereas if you're playing an aggro deck, it's not cohesive. So like, I guess what I'm saying is the value of cards change based on how cohesive they are in their deck. And that's like pretty important. That's what people say. They say draft a deck, don't draft cards. So part of it is like, okay, cohesive, whatever. You can understand that, like, you know, like, I guess a good example is like a 1-mana 2/1, a Jackal Pup, it can be good in an aggressive deck, but it won't necessarily be as much utility to a deck that's not trying to pressure the opponent's life total. So you can understand, okay, cohesion is one way that I'm going to value cards. Then another way you value cards is based on curve. And I guess this is kind of dynamic because the earlier in the draft, the less information you have on the curve. But the way I would explain, because it's kind of self-evident and it seems kind of asinine to say curve is valuable, but it's important to like just have the building blocks. And I would say the reason curve is valuable, and what I mean by this kind of people might overreact to a card is good and underreact to curve, is I would say imagine if there's a game of Magic happening and one player goes, they play a 2-drop, they play a 3-drop, they play a 4-drop, and they play a 5-drop. So they just play a card on curve every turn, right? And then the other player goes, they play a 2-drop, they play a 2-drop, they play a 4-drop, they play a 4-drop. And now, if the player, now we can say the guy who played 2, 3, 4, 5, all his cards were not that good. Like they were commons, most people would consider them not that good cards, like below average cards. And the other player who played 2-drop, 2-drop, 4-drop, 4-drop, played all cards that were above average. Okay, it's not hard to imagine the one who went 2, 3, 4, 5 is actually ahead, because the reason that the cards are considered above average is because they're pushed on rate, on how efficient they are. But if you're not using the mana, like if I guess what I'm saying is if somebody plays a good 2-drop on turn 3 and somebody plays a medium 3-drop, it's not inconceivable that the person who played the medium 3-drop is ahead. And it's the same on turn 5. Like if somebody plays just the filler 5-drop on turn 5 and the other player plays a good 4-drop, people are very much prone to overreacting to like, they're like, limited is about playing the good cards. Limited is about, not playing the filler cards, but they won't realize that the reason So I don't know if I'm putting it too far, but I guess what I'm saying is there's a lot of value to simply using all your mana every turn and curving out. So that's what I mean by curve, I guess. So I'm going to say,
I understand.
Yeah, cards that are not that good can be good in the context of like they just fill your curve because of mana efficiency reasons. So Slith can be, the less 2-drops you have, the more, I guess a quick way to brush it down is like the less 2-drops you have, the more valuable a worse 2-drop is. Like let's say you have a very high quality in your sealed deck, but you have literally no 2-drops, you might, then like a bad 2-drop you might value higher. So I guess the whole point of this whole monologue was to say, if you're missing cards on curve, you might value weaker cards. But then that enters like that can be an interesting dynamic where like how much will you lower your standards just to fill your curve? Like that's always a dynamic happening in sealed, which is like how much do I value my curve versus card impact.
Yeah, I got it.
Anyway, so that's kind of where I was going with sealed slice. But anyway, let me drag some out. So like Witch Enchanter, I don't know, it's weird because it's like a land, but it's like you're just gonna play it as a land thing. This Rhino card's kind of weird because like it's kind of a good card, but like is it really what your deck's about? This is like a build around. I guess I'll put it here if you have enough stuff. It can be good. I don't know. This card's like playable. I don't know if it's exciting me. This card's good. This card's good. Like these cards are. I guess a big thing in limited is what I would call versatility of cards. So like some cards like Lightning Bolt are just generically good in every deck. Whereas a card like Kite, this can be weird for people to evaluate because people who are familiar with the set, this was kind of a hype card in draft. Like people would say this card's good, it's important, whatever. But I would say it's not a very versatile card. Like if you're not an aggressive deck, if you don't have ways to get value with the fact or a sacrifice deck or whatever, it's like, you know what I mean? Like if you're just playing a generic control deck, it's not that good. So this is a card that I would consider powerful but narrow. So that's also kind of something important to be with these decks. Like you could say the same thing about Lion Umbra or some of these cards or Kami of Jellicert. Like they're power but they're narrow. So anyway, this looks like a pretty bad pool because I barely pulled out any cards. I mean, this card's kind of good, but you need like energy cards. Like if you have like, a couple energy cards, it's good, but it's not that easy to get energy in sealed. I mean, this card's totally playable in an Eldrazi deck. So yeah, I mean, I would be kind of looking at Temur. I mean, you have the Chrysalis. I didn't even go over these gold cards. I didn't even. This must be like a bonus sheet card.
Commander card, pretty sure.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I've never read this card before, so I'm just reading it to see if it's good. Okay, this card looks kind of gross.
I looked it up and it was.
Yeah.
I remember hearing it was unplayable, but I mean maybe.
Oh, land. I thought it's just like creatures. Okay, it says at the beginning of each combat, land creatures. I thought it just gave all your cards like Elesh Norn. Okay.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that it's weird. And yeah, like these cards are like okay, but like not that exciting. Like this card's worse than it looks. So yeah, I'd be like, okay, it's probably not that likely I'm going to be black because if you're black, it would kind of look like a blue-black draw 2 deck because like this card's like can be good if you have a lot of card draw, but you don't have that much. Like if you had like more of these, the white looks kind of like I guess you could look at the mana. So you have a lot of like this is kind of awkward actually
I
because of
know,
the way
right?
your mana. It's like yeah, you have black lands, but you kind of want to be teamer. So maybe it'll be like a red green deck splashing blue, or maybe it'll just be sketchy mana because like cards like Anthrax or what this Party Thrasher card can kind of be mana fixing because when you cast
Yep.
it, it can like discard cards or whatever. You have some like the thing is Rhino. I don't know if it's the best in Eldrazi deck, and like I don't know if you can like really splash removal. I don't know if the seal pool is going too long. Let me know if you want me to if you feel like what I'm saying is not useful or whatever or something on those
I
lines.
mean, it's interesting hearing like how you would build it because I mean, yeah, I had pretty similar thoughts, and it was but like obviously I didn't have super a ton of experience, so I mean, yeah, just
Yeah, I mean,
keep
first of
going if
all,
you'd
yeah,
like.
I mean, yeah, I would be like, okay, I would be kind of sketched out a little bit. I mean, maybe there's something weird you can do as white, but like I was saying, this is a pretty unbalanced format. It's pretty hard to make these white aggro decks work.
Uh
Um,
huh.
yeah, you could look here, but so I mean, this is probably the first place I would look. I mean, yeah, you have two Chrysalis, so like your green's not that deep, but Chrysalis, kind of a green card, pulls you in a bit. Um, yeah, this is 23 cards, but obviously the mana is going to be a little bit shaky. And yeah, it's kind of funny because Meddler is not that good of a card. It's more playable. So
Yeah.
like I don't know, maybe it's like red green, but maybe you just play it because it's expensive and like what's your mana fixing? It's kind of shaky. Like maybe just splash white for removal because you have better mana for it. I guess I'll take a look. But this is not very good removal. This is like double white to work properly. If you have a lot of ETB cards, then you can get some value as this card, but like you don't
Yeah.
have that many good ETB cards. Like I don't know, you have this stuff, I guess. So I don't know. I would, you know, like I guess what I'm trying to say is like if you're like gun to my head, build the best sealed deck possible, and I wanted to take 5 hours doing it, maybe I would like try really hard. But my first impression is it's gonna be hard to make something that good because your card quality is just kind of low. Like it's a mix of
Right.
your mana's not that good, your mana's not that good, and your card quality's not that good. I mean, you definitely. Okay, I don't want to do naysay this deck too much because it actually has like pretty good red green cards. I guess the
Yeah.
thing I would just say is that like your I mean I guess your mana is okay because like this card makes multiple sources. This card can this card can be like very sketchy way to fix your mana,
Yeah.
whatever. So and maybe you can play 18 lands because you have like Syncta Stupor and you have a lot of 6 drops and you have this Disciple and I don't know I guess like you have this card. It's kind of weird because you have like I wouldn't be surprised if some geniuses would splash Crab Abomination because you have a couple of these and you have these and you have this. So like maybe, but it's like kind of hard to obviously double splash a card. But yeah, this is like one of the
Yeah.
best rares in the set. I mean, I guess you can read it's like ETBs and you basically draw 2 cards.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. Yep.
so
That's what I did. Yeah. I did red green splash the crab abomination with um yeah, I kind of coped myself into doing it because I had the Thrashers, and then you have that one red black MDFC, so it's kind of like you have like three duels with the landscapes. But yeah, I mean, the
yeah,
games
no,
ended up like kind of the games were like complex. Honestly, the games were still pretty cool, but yeah, every route I looked at was just like, oh god,
yeah,
there's something wrong, you know?
we can look. I mean, also this Spy Master's Vault. This is also like kind of a hard card to evaluate because this card's like pretty good and it's very good with like Spawn or is it non-token? No, it's just creatures died. So like this card is quite good with Chrysalis. The Spy Master's Vault. I don't know if that's something you consider, but like that would kind of push me in because it's not just the Crabomination, but this is also like a very good land. Like you could almost play like you could almost just play this card with no black sources, just or I mean no other black cards. I mean, so
Yeah.
um anyway, so it kind of
My
makes
thing,
sense. Yeah,
my thing with that was like, I wanted to have two swamps so I could fetch both for crab abomination, and I didn't want to have one swamp, one spy master's vault, you know. Plus, like the red green like requirements are also kind of sketchy to begin with. But yeah, I wanted to get it into. It was just like a rough build.
yeah. Like I would say the thing about Spy Master's Vaults, it's just that like I would say the reason I would be fine with it is like I'm fine if it enters tapped because it's just like I mean obviously I could be overrating it, but
uh,
it's like a very it's just like a very powerful effect. Like it's kind of like a creature land. Like I would think of it similar to creature land. Like if there was like a black creature land, like I would think of it similar. Like I'm fine even if this enter tap most of the time because the effect is so powerful that it's like worth playing a tap land, like kind of like a creature land. Because like the connive ability. I mean, obviously it's kind of contextual because it's hard to evaluate what the connive thing does and like how impactful it'll be or whatever. And like I could overrate it, but I guess the framework I would think of it sort of like a creature land more than just like a utility land, if that makes sense. And then be like, do I want to play tap black land or whatever? Yeah. So anyway, I
How
guess
about
the yeah.
this? Um, when you're like looking at your sealed pool, like for this, like the red green deck, like I kind of always try to stick to like have 8 sources of red, 8 sources of green. Like if they're my primary colors. How like how do you see that? How do you think of your mana when you're building?
So I mean, I guess I would say in sealed, two big things with mana is number one, besides just the actual land sources, it's very good to count obviously the other sources that make mana. Like this isn't exactly a red source, but it kind of helps you make red. And I would count it pretty close to red source. And like cantrips, cards like Party Thrasher, I would consider like really improving my mana. Like I would consider this close to a black source because like if I draw a black card and I can't cast it, I can just play Thrasher and discard it. You know what I mean? So like
Right.
this really helps alleviate the mana. So I guess I would look to my spells that can help my mana as something. And I would say the other thing with splashing is like how good is this card to cast later in the game? So what I mean is like cards that are better to cast later in the game, I'm more happy to splash with. Like it's like pretty obvious that like you don't want to like it's worse to splash a 1 mana bomb because you can't cast it on turn 1 most of the time. Or like you know what I mean? Like let's say a card that's like locks it on Smiter, like a 3 mana just like a big creature. Like I would say White of the Reliquary is a good example, right? Like this is a card that like it's worth the splash because it has less sources, whereas a card like I would in Unfathomable Truth is perfect to splash because if you cast it late, like it gets better the later the game goes, basically. So I guess that's something I'm considering with sources too. Is I'm kind of weighing how good is it when I finally cast this card. I mean, that's kind of obvious, I guess, but like the better a
Right.
card is, the more willing I am to splash it. Like that's why you're even considering double splashing Crabomination because it's such a good
Right.
card that even though it's a double splash, you might still consider it. And here you can see there's kind of weird things going on where like you have like black dual lands, so it's like okay, like my mana is already better for black, and you have this, so you have like all these dual lands, but it's like, do I still want to splash a double splash card? So I would probably just pull it up, and I guess kind of yeah, the main questions I would be asking is I'd be like, okay, like do I really want to be in red green? And I'd be like, okay, I guess it's fine, like I have enough cards probably. So then I'd be like, do I want to be in black or blue as my kind of second color? Sometimes you can be 4 colors, but the mana is kind of shaky, so it might not work. Also, I don't mind Gift of the Viper, so like I'm probably gonna play at least one of them, even though it's not that good with Cascade or whatever. So let me see. Da, da, da. And like, yeah, this card's kind of weird because this isn't a good example too. This is a blue card. It's not the best splash in the world because it's not really a card. It's a card you want to cast early to get its effect, and it's not even that insane early, but obviously it's pretty good. So yeah, I mean that's probably what I would be debating. I would like kind of the questions I would be asking myself is like I'm trying to maximize the floor of the impact of the cards in my deck. Like one way to think of it, I think I pay a lot of attention to the worst cards in my limited decks because
Yeah.
when you play constructed and you like quickly want to go to sideboard out the worst cards, and it's very intuitive that like if you have Fatal Push against a deck with no creatures, it's really bad. It's very similar in limited. Like a lot of value actually comes from like raising the floor of your worst cards. And so I pay a lot of attention to what's the worst card in my deck because it's kind of a similar principle of like having like a Fatal Push against a deck with no creatures. Like the worst card's going to be the worst to draw because it's for obvious reasons, whatever. So I'm kind of being like, okay, how do I maximize like the worst card in my deck while also trying to like have cohesion happen in my deck, have as in like my cards work together, kind of cohesively. Like I might not want to play as much, oh yeah, Dread Mask I might pull in. I guess it's another 6-drop. That's what I mean by curve. Like obviously like I'm like, if I had no 6-drops, I'd be like, okay, Dread Mask I'm pretty happy to get in, but I have these Ember Mages, so I'm a bit lower. Anyway, so I guess what I'm saying is like the way I'm building this deck is I'm thinking, how do I maximize the low end of my the cards? And how do I judge like Crown Abomination's more powerful than like my blue cards, but I have more blue than black cards. So then I might start being like, okay, what are all the black cards I have? Like Dreadmobile, like is this a card I want to play? Because like I guess I have some spawns and stuff, but it's kind of whatever. And I'd be like, yeah, like I'd be like, what are my other black cards I can play besides Crabomination? And it's like not, very positive looking, I guess. So then that might push me into like blue a lot because like okay, maybe I can't play Crabomination, but if I play blue, at least I get to play all these like playable cards. And obviously Meddler's kind of weird because it's like kind of mediocre in some ways, but like we don't have 5 drops. It's like fine, I think. Like the impact of this card is pretty close to a 1. Like it's not exactly a 1, but it's pretty high impact card when you play it on the game. Um, and on Phasmold Fruits, it's kind of nice you get to play Sink into Stupor because it's not amazing, I guess, and maybe it's not even better than Island or whatever. But yeah, so like I might lean more into blue just because I have more high impact cards. But I'll lose impact. I'd be like, okay, do I have any more red or green cards I can milk out of? And it's like, okay, like not really. Like you can play more Gift of the
Yeah, not
Vipers.
really.
Maybe you can play a second one, whatever. But like these red cards, like I'm kind of low on this Void Pouncer. This is, I guess, a super wombo combo with Gift of the Viper if you can really set it up. So maybe you could play
Sure.
Mogmob. That's pretty deep. So this
Does
is
that
kind of.
work?
I think I'm like 95% sure it works. I'm not 100% sure,
Oh,
but I
okay.
think that would be like a mini combo, I guess. So maybe you could play it, I guess. But it's kind of
So you're
weird
playing
because
triple red though.
yeah, so it would be almost kind of like a 6 drop, but it's just like, like the impact, this could be a high impact combo to set up. So I'm like, maybe you can play Mogmob because it is a combo with Gift of the Viper. Like I do have Party Thrasher to discard it, whatever. I would almost consider it like a splash, you know what I mean? Like it's going to be hard to
Yeah,
cast.
yeah.
But it's a card you could consider that could be a pretty high. Like if you have triple red and then you also have Gift of the Viper, you could have a pretty powerful effect with that. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm not sure. If it was me, I might do blue just because I feel like the problem, like you could show me the pool you built, but like I feel like if I play Crabomination, like I'm gonna have to play too much sketchy filler. So I might just
Yeah.
rather play blue and kind of play a sketchy mana base, kind of be like like a sketchy mana, but be like I have Party Thrasher to fix to fix my mana, so it's fine. Maybe I'll play an extra land because I have like Disciple and stuff. Yeah, maybe like so I'd play like Collective Resistance. So yeah, if it was me, I'd probably kind of do like this and kind of be like, yeah, my mana's not that good, but at least all these blue cards are kind of higher impact cards. I don't know. And I would be like hope to like maybe get 5 or 6 wins with this deck. I don't know if this is a perfect build, but that's kind of what I'd be thinking. Like I'm thinking about what's the worst card in my deck. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, I don't know if you
Um,
have any comments on that or yeah, go ahead.
that makes sense. Yeah, I'll just like show you what I built, and then maybe we can just look at the games and then see if you
Yeah.
can get anything from there.
Yeah.
Okay. Share screen. Do you see?
Yeah, I see your screen. Let's see.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like I said, I haven't played a ton, so I was like, I mean, these Void Pouncers seem fine. Like you said, I'm missing 5, so I just like call them 5 drops. The black cards seemed okay to me, like the Wombat and the White and the Gravedigg. My reasoning for playing so many is because like the reason I'm playing black is for Crabomination, so I already need like a lot of black sources. So I was like, okay, I can just like play these black cards. I have Party Thrashers to discard them if I don't have Swamps. I also think these cards are all kind of fine late game. Like you can adapt this guy. This seems kind of broken with Chrysalis if that happens. White seems like it'd be fine late game, assuming like you have a bunch of creatures in your graveyard. Gravedigg gets some Chrysalises back. Yeah. I also didn't know this was best of 1 going in. I thought it'd be best of 3.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Like Curse Wombat's a pretty solid black green card. White, Gravedigg is, has solid utility late game, so playing all those cards are fine. Like maybe I would have considered the Bogart Trawler, but it's kind of hard to evaluate, obviously. And maybe it's not like it's kind of funny because it's kind of a weird situation where like it's worse because you have so many black sources, maybe, but or like because the black line is not that good. I don't know how to say it, but it's like I would have considered it, I guess, but it's kind of I don't know if it would be worth it. It makes sense to play Void Pouncer. Void Pouncer is kind of funny because it's like a 5 drop, but it's like only a 5/3, so it trades down a lot. But it makes sense to play it. It's a 2 drop. Fetid Gargantua, you could consider it. It's pretty bad, but if nobody's doing it,
at it, yeah.
yeah, like it's like it can be okay if the game's going long. And I don't know. Yeah, this pool looks like reasonable. Yeah, like maybe I'd play the Spy Master's Vault. Maybe a couple things here or there, but seems like reasonably built. Like I'd be like, okay, what's the worst card in your deck? You don't have any cards that are that bad. Like maybe your worst card's Void Pouncer, but you don't have any 5 drops, and like it might be better than I think because you don't always know for sure if what you think about the card is true. But
Right.
yeah, so like you don't have any cards that are that bad. It kind of makes sense. So I would say it seemed like a reasonable, it's nothing too concerning, I would say. And yeah, we could look at the gameplay, I guess.
You ever had to do this before? I wish I had actual recordings, but
Yeah,
either way.
I've used this it a lot. Yeah, this is a good place to
Okay.
put it. Yeah, you can put it like there because you can click the next action. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, did you think this was a pretty easy keep, I guess, or what were you thinking?
Um, is there a way I can see if I'm on the play or not? I forgot.
I mean, you can go to turn one and see who goes first, but okay, looks
Okay,
like you're on
I
the
was on the
play.
play.
I mean,
So
yeah,
yeah. I mean, I thought about mulling it. I mean, it's like if my Dryad dies, like I'm probably just screwed. But like, I don't know. I feel like I'm still not gonna mulligan this, even with that possibility.
yeah, I would. Would your decision? Because you mentioned player draw. Like, would your decision change if you're on the player draw? Like, what how close were you? To mulliganing. Like, what?
Um,
Like, if you're on the draw, would it be worse or better for you? Because on the draw you have an
I
extra
would.
look at a land, but it's slow.
Yeah, on the draw, I'd be a little more comfortable because, like, yeah, I get an extra look at the land. But there's also the argument that, like, on the play, there's like it's probably less likely your Dryad dies. But I mean, I think I was probably just gonna keep it either way. I don't think I would have mulliganed player draw. I was just wondering.
Yeah, yeah. I would say this was a hand that if somebody told me they would mulligan it, I would be a bit concerned because I feel
Mhm.
like I think if somebody mulligans this hand, they're probably mulliganing too aggressively. Obviously, it's always nuanced, case by case, whatever. And some good players might say they mulligan this, but I feel like it's pretty important to keep this. So I don't know if we should go into it too much, but I do feel like if somebody mulligans this, I would be concerned. Not that this hand's great or whatever,
Yeah.
but I feel like if you mulligan, like I feel like if you mulliganing keepable hands that are good enough, it can become concerning because I guess the key question is like, what are you mulliganing towards? Because I guess one way that I look at mulligans that I use sometimes is I think if I had the same hand on 6 cards, how would I feel about this? Because one of the difficulties of mulliganing is when you see a hand that's like kind of close, but it's like not that good, but you're like, should I keep it? The reason it's hard is because you're not just like you don't know the range of sixes are very wide. Like you could mulligan into very bad hands, so it's like becomes unclear. So kind of the way I use to help that is I just think if I had an average six, how would I feel about this? And if I feel like, oh, I would feel bad about this as an average six, then I'd be like, okay, maybe I should mulligan on this on seven. Like sometimes I'll see somebody keep a seven, and I'll be like, and they won't mulligan this, and I'm like, if you saw that hand on six, how would you feel? And they'd say bad. Like the fact that you feel bad about it on six means that the average six is probably better. Obviously, this is the opposite. So here it would be like, okay, what if I saw this hand on six? How would I feel? And I'd be like, oh, I probably feel like, and then it's like, oh, I would feel good about it. And it's really dangerous to mulligan hands that you would feel good about, I guess, on six. Like I feel like if I saw this hand on six, I'd be kind of happy. So then,
Yeah.
by that logic, I think it's concerning to mulligan it on six. Obviously, things can go wrong, but like all things considered, you're playing a sketchy deck, and this is a serviceable hand. Like I guess things I look about is like can you spend whatever, like can you spend mana, whatever. But like this is a hand that can turn 3 Chrysalis on the play with like plenty of other gas, plenty of stuff to do. So yeah, not a perfect hand, can go wrong, but all things considered, I'd be happy keeping it. Maybe yeah. So anyway, I guess we can keep going. Yeah. So yeah, you
Should I
play
just like
Forest.
click? How do you want to do this? Click
Yeah,
through that or
you can
what?
click the next turn for next. Yeah, click the pause. I would probably click yeah. See where it says like next action, next turn. I would probably click those buttons. Yeah, because otherwise it'll play too weird. So yeah, you can go. So they kill your guy. Too
Yep.
bad. Unlucky.
Oh.
Yeah, they play a land.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so you just miss land. So I don't know. Maybe you're gonna lose. We'll see. Yeah, you
This
can
game
click the
turns into a
pause.
banger.
You can click the
Okay.
pause and then just click like the next turn.
Click.
Yeah, like click next turn if you want to skip ahead. Okay, so you draw a red land and you play the Void Pouncer. Seems reasonable. I mean, I guess you have what do you have in the grave? You have the Nightshade. So this is your first turn. You have an option, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah. So this is your first
Yeah.
option. So you have like 3 cards you could cast. Like, did you think it was close between which one to cast, or how do you?
I mean, glimpse. I wanted to save for next turn, like in case I don't hit the land, then I can glimpse into a land. The 2/1. I mean, the 2/1 just looks like too useless to me. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm like playing Evolution Witness, passing. They do whatever. If I draw the land, I can technically like adapt plus play Nightshade. But I mean, if I'm drawing a land, I'm just landing Chrysalis anyway, right? Um, yeah, the 3/1 just trades with the 3/3. It's what kind of made most sense to me.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I mean, it's kind of like technically playing the Witness is the most mana efficient line, so I was kind of drawn to it. But you kind of, yeah, it makes sense that if you draw a land, like you could just play the Chrysalis anyway. If you don't play a land, you might want to play Glimpse, so you could play Void Pouncer to block. Like it feels kind of bad to block the 3/3 because it's just gonna die and make a spawn.
Mhm.
But it does make sense contextually. Like usually I'm like try to be very vigilant of mana usage, but it makes sense that like you're probably not gonna level the Witness for a while because you have Glimpse and Chrysalis. So you can play the Void Pouncer to try and block. So it makes sense, seems reasonable. Yeah. Like I was like I would say like it's a very small consideration. Oh, sorry. Like it is like kind of a small consideration that like I guess it's kind of weird because if you don't draw a land, you're probably going to play Glimpse the Unthinkable or whatever it's Glimpse the Impossible next turn. But like technically you could go like play the Elf if you untap, you know, level it, get the thing back. But I guess like one angle is like let's say you play the Elf, you untap, you play Glimpse, and then you hit a Forest off Glimpse. Then you could like level the Glimpse, like then you could level the Witness with that, and then you could get the thing back.
Yeah.
But it gets kind of nuanced because like, well, how good is getting back the 1/2 Death Touch? I mean, it's pretty good. Then there's like, oh, but what if? So I guess but it makes sense to play the Void Pouncer. Like I think like it seems fun. I was just wanted to say that there are like I could imagine. I guess the point I was saying, I could believe it's better to play the Elf, but actually it makes sense to play the Void Pouncer because it's just a better blocker, and you're probably going to Glimpse, and it's not even that high chance you hit a Forest. Like it might be 40% that you hit it. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, so we can keep going. I guess I was just pointing. I thought it was kind of like close, but not like crit. I could. It makes sense. Void Pouncer could be a better play, and it seems close either way. Yeah.
Like when these decisions, when it's like you're in the replay and it's like kind of close either way, like. Do you just like mark it off in your head like, oh, that was kind of close, like I didn't mind that I made that decision, or do you like really try to get into it like every single like possibility, you know?
Well, I would say I try to get into it, but let me see how to put this. I would say that if the decision's close, people can hyperfixate on it too much because it's the thing Paulo said that like I'm mostly trying to look at things that seem obviously bad. Because you can only look at so many replays. So if the decision, like here, it seems kind of close, and like let me think how to put it. Like, one time Paulo said that like he's like, a lot of times people are like the way he sees Magic is that like let's say it's one turn and you have 3 decisions and you could grade them out of 10. So let's say like this turn playing Glimpse would be like like 2 out of 10, whatever. But basically the point is like one plays like an 8 out of 10, one plays like a 7 out of 10, one plays at a 2 out of 10. He's saying that like if you make the 7 out of 10, like you don't need to make the best play every turn to do well at Magic. You only just need to make like a pretty good choice every turn. So as long as the baseline of your choice is pretty good, you're probably going to do pretty well. So I'm mostly just trying to look for things that are like really bad, like the dentist looking for cavities. But like, okay, what if there is a close choice? Yeah, it is worth thinking about, but like.
Don't spend hours on it.
I guess what I'm trying to say is like at the highest, like at the literal like highest level, like I feel like if you followed the best players around at a Magic event, they're gonna make a lot of like they're mostly there in my opinion because they're making a lot of like 7 out of 10 decisions every turn and their floor is high. It's not that they're making a 9 out of 10 every time. So I put more emphasis on just trying to be like make plays that are like not obviously bad. But yeah, it is interesting to be like, okay, which one's actually better? We can discuss this. I mean, we could sit down. We could try and discuss the pros and cons like I did for a minute. And like, okay, what's the pro Void Pouncer? It blocks right away. You gain 3 life, but you give them a spawn. So you could get into it a bit. And mana efficiency, whatever. So I think you can get into it, but like here, it seems like not like that like fruitful to get into it to me. Like it seems kind of like stressing out the minor details for this particular one. Sometimes it matters more. Like the times it matters more if like when it's like. It matters more usually in Constructed, because in Constructed, the same situation is going to repeat a million times. So even if it's like, oh, what 1-drop do I play? And I'm like, oh, this one's 6 out of 10, this one's 7 out of 10. Well, then it really matters to do the 7 out of 10 one, because it's going to happen 50 times throughout the tournament. But, since it's limited, it's a bit more contextual. So I would say the close decisions probably are matter more in Constructed, because the same situation is going to repeat, but obviously it matters. But yeah, I don't know if you want to add anything there on that.
No, that makes sense.
Like, I guess what I was trying to say is like it's very important to be detail oriented. Obviously, like it's very important to pay attention to all the details. But I guess like making sure the decision is good enough is like its own way of looking at the details. Like if you just took the time to make sure the decision is like is not that bad, that's its own form of being detail oriented without even have to getting into it, I guess is what I'm saying. So yeah, but we can keep going.
Understand it. Next turn.
Yeah, you can, so they attack. I guess you have the choice to block. Makes sense to block, I guess, because you might as well just save this 3 life or whatever. Seems reasonable. So they play this thing. Yeah. So you draw land. You play Chrysalis. Makes sense. It's their turn. They play Chrysalis. They make 1,000,000 spawns. Okay, so I guess you're one of your. Okay, now they're doing this on their main phase. Okay, so they're just exiling your Chrysalis. Wait, what's happening here? Are you sacking? Like, why is your guy 3/4? Did a spawn die?
Did I sack one? I might have misclicked, honestly.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if I did that.
Okay, yeah. So they do this. I'm trying to figure out why they're doing it main phase. Maybe they didn't play a land. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they want to play more spells, I guess. I mean, I guess this seems fine for them. Like, might as well main phase this, I guess.
I think I was probably just like mad clicking around and then I accidentally clicked on my spawn.
Yeah. So I guess we could pause for a second. I guess it's like it makes. So what happened here? So we didn't draw land. So yeah, I mean, yeah, seems fine to like play the glimpse. Like you want to hit your land drops. So you know why not?
Yeah.
Like you could technically witness, but you're gonna miss land. So yeah, this seems fun. This seems good. So you hit that kind of awkward. You hit the crab, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then you play the white,
Which
makes sense, and you get your 1/1s. So yeah, they play a 7/7 thingy.
Lost 3.
Oh yeah, I mean you probably can't win here, but I guess we can see the decisions. Yeah, you have a choice whether to block or not. I mean, it seems fine to block. 11 damage is a lot. So
yeah.
Then they played that card. Okay, so now our options.
What did I do here?
I mean,
I did some crazy shit here, from what I remember.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like I mean, if you're playing now, I mean, it seems like you kind of just have to. I don't know what's in your graveyard. Oh, I guess you can click the graveyard button. I mean, there's a Chrysalis. I don't know if there's a land or whatever, but it seems like you probably just have to play your elf, level it up, and pass. Oh shit, the crowd went to the grave. Yeah, I mean, it seems like your play that you have to do is you just have to go like block with the Scion, sack it to the like that thing sacrifice. Like you can sacrifice the Scion to get a land, right? So I imagine it looks like your play is just like play this 2/1, get back something, sack it a land. And it's like, okay, what are the other options? Like basically your big option here is like, should I not sacrifice the Scion so I have an extra green mana to like cast the Gift of the Viper or something? Because like you could do something like play Evolution Witness and then you could go like sack the Scion to make green mana. Then you could, whatever it's called, harmonize or whatever and then you could use the green mana to give. So like kind of, I would break down like what are the options I even have here. Or sorry, I guess like, yeah, I don't know what you were thinking. Like, but I would kind of be like, yeah, I want to slam this elf, and what were you thinking here?
I guess my thought going into the turn was something along the lines of like, I have this witness and I have all these cards that put counters on the witness. I figured that was my way back into the game, like, you know, just like turning all of these cards into 2-for-1s and then like maybe like they have 5 like bricks in hand and I get back in the game that way. I also like, I mean, I have 2 kind of removal spells. If I give something Death Touch and then I can fight one and then block the other with Death Touch, I can maybe like cobble something together. I forget exactly what I did on this turn though.
Yeah, I mean, we could pretend if it was like right now, like what you'd be thinking, you know, like, yeah. I mean, you're like, I mean, basically you have to play the witness. The only nuance is like, how are you going to go about it? I mean, you could look at the graveyard, like, do you have any lands in there? Because if you miss a land this turn, you could consider, you know, like, oh, do I want to get a land back this turn? You know, there's some, you know, like, I guess that's the first decision. Like, I guess basically the decision this turn is how do I want to use my Evolution Witness? Like, you know, you want to play it,
yeah.
But the first decision is, do I want to get a land back? If so, then I should main phase it so I can play the land. But then it's like, maybe I don't want to get the land back. And then the other micro decision is, do I want to sacrifice this 0/1 token to the knight, or do I want to like sack it to make mana, or do I want to like use Gift of the Viper on it, right? So those are kind of the decisions. But I guess like kind of like for me it would be kind of intuitive that like I would be like, I want to play my, you know, elf, get something back, like probably a Chrysalis to make a bunch of blockers, and then just like sack this spawn to the thing, and then that would be like pretty intuitively for me. Like, yeah, so like what do you think you would do if you were playing now? Like how
I
would
guess
you
something I just saw is like you could maybe evolution witness pass the turn. If they swing out, you can gift to the Viper your witness. I'm not sure if you can do this. The counter goes on, and then maybe regrow your gift of the Viper. Oh, it gets permanence back.
yeah,
Oh,
only permanents.
you could do 3 mana. I mean, yeah, you're playing witness. What are you doing with the witness?
I mean, yeah, you can look at
Witness,
yeah.
witness, regrow something. Maybe like sack the spawn. Actually, I kind of don't mind that. Like, so witness, sack the spawn to regrow something. Play your mountain, pass. If they go to attack, gift to the Viper, your guy. Maybe get back a creature, then block like the 12-13, and then pray that's good enough. That seems reasonable right now.
Yeah, I guess I
I
would
don't
say
think.
yeah, I would say that's one of the big decisions there was the witness is like do you sacrifice the spawn to so that you're able to cast Gift of the Viper this turn, or do you try to block with the spawn and sacrifice it to the Knight of the Reliquary to get a land in play? So that's kind of what I'd be looking at, and like I guess some ways to break it down is like how important is it to cast the Gift of the Viper this turn? Because their Rising Chrysalis is huge. It's a 12-13, but they don't have any way to give it trample. We have a lot of spawn
Right.
tokens. So I'd be thinking, I can just put the spawn in front of the Chrysalis, sacrifice the spawn, get a land, then I can get back my Rising Chrysalis, and then next turn I can like Rising Chrysalis, make a bunch of spawns, and I can just like block with the spawn and then sack that. Obviously, they have the other cards. They have the 7/7 here. They have the 2/2, but we're at 20 life, so like we can take a hit. Our White of the Reliquary is getting pretty big, so I guess I would be like, I don't think it's crazy to try and Gift of the Viper, but I do like the thing is if we are kind of giving up cards in different ways because like by sacrificing the spawn we get a land into play, and having a land is a form of card advantage, right? So like by being aggressive with the Gift of the Viper, we're kind of giving up cards because like it is pretty valuable to get the extra land in play because we have a double red card in our hand we can't cast, and we have a Crow Abomination that we're going to try and get back probably. So like getting this extra colored source seems pretty valuable to me, and I don't feel like I'm in that much of a rush to cast Gift of the Viper. So that's why the way I would analyze this turn is I would just be like play Evolution Witness, probably get back Chrysalis main phase, then just pass, plan to try and block their 12-13, get like a mountain or whatever. And then like next turn, I would try and like the other thing is if we Gift of the Viper or Evolution Witness, then that kind of makes us want to block this turn. But we might not even want to block this turn because we might want to do the fight spell, the Signature Slam, to get another card back later. But it's not 100%. But I guess yeah, kind of the way I would break this turn down is I'd be like, okay, how important is it to cast the Gift of the Viper now? Whatever. So I'd probably pass, but I think it's like definitely not a disaster to do the Gift of the Viper thing or whatever, and like it could even be the right play. It just depends on the trade-offs. I just kind of value getting the land in play kind of high because we have a double red card in our hand. We have a lot of mana, so I kind of want to get the land anyway. So yeah, I don't know if you have anything you want to add there.
No, I like your line. Yeah, I agree with what you said. Just witness, regrow, Chrysalis, jump, get a land, then yeah, go from there.
Yeah, I hope they don't have any more 7-drops. So it looks like it goes on for a while, so you survive for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get back the land.
Oh, that's what I did.
Oh, you gifted main phase to fight this thing. Yeah, I see. And then you have the double red from the
line. That?
I feel like the only problem with this is it's not playing as much for like it could be reasonable, but the problem is it doesn't give as much card advantage in a longer game. Like you are kind of giving up cards, and I feel like your opponent's not like I feel like I'd rather just get back the Chrysalis and just kind of take it slow, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because like if it's not crazy, but we have 20 life, and I feel like we have some life to play around with, and I feel like this game's going to probably drag on, and I'd rather have the extra cards. Basically, by doing this, now your source of card advantage is like, okay, I have this Crab Abomination, but I kind of feel like we need more than I'm kind of trying to be greedy. Like, I want the Chrysalis and the Crab Abomination, and I don't know what else is in the graveyard. Maybe I even want a Abomination multiple times or whatever. So, or like save the fight for later. I guess But I don't think this is a crazy line. Like in all reality, if you're playing this game, you'd probably be thinking, "Am I supposed to scoop here or just go next?" But like you definitely could
Yeah,
win
yeah,
if the
yeah.
hand's bad. But I guess I value the card advantage more, so I wouldn't want to give away the cards. But I don't think it's like this. I guess you can ask, what does this line accomplish? The most obvious thing this line accomplishes is it makes your life total higher. But I guess I still value the cards more than life total at this point in the game. But it's not like crazy to be like, oh, I want to value my life total. But I do feel like the cards will matter more because I feel like you don't have enough late game here
Yeah.
to justify caring about your life enough. Like I would try and like pay more life to draw more cards. But anyway, we can So they play this.
Yeah.
So I guess they make more spawns or whatever.
The other thing is I lose a card because I don't use the adapt ability.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So so they do that. So you block, you get a thingy. Then you can so now it's actually realistic. You could win again. Wow, that's an amazing draw. So yeah, it makes sense to play Cribomination, especially before they can get rid of all the cards in their hand. I don't even see. So you play 7/7.
Sorry,
Sure.
I'll pause that. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if there was a choice there. I mean, playing a 7/7 seems
There
pretty good.
wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this happens. And then I guess you could your choice is do I Nyxborn Hydra on something or do I try and hold it for later? Also, the Nyxborn doesn't trigger the Witness, I'm pretty sure, because the counters are on itself.
Doesn't. Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe you put it on the that's basically your option here. Do I go for the Nyxborn or not? So what are you thinking here? And I guess they play the shifty woodlands.
I remember what I was thinking was I'm just gonna slam Hydra on my 7/7 then swing. The reason being I'm trading my 7/7 for one of their 7/7s, and then I'll also have the 7/8 Hydra in play afterwards. So it's I'm almost getting 14 power out of my Hydra, if that makes sense. Yeah, what do you think about that? Do you know
Yeah, I
what I
mean, if you have the only if this, as long as you can attack, then it's really nice to play this Hydra. The only thing I would just be is make sure I can attack, and it looks like you could play it for 7, right? So it'd be 14 power. So that would be that seems like a great play. Trade it, dwindle down their board, get a 7/7 left over. I like that play, and yeah. You don't really need to wait for longer. I would try and turn the corner before they just draw too many cards. So it seems like a good play. Play it on the Vigilance guy, I guess.
Something.
Yeah, and just attack and yeah. So they double block. If they double block like that, it's good for you. If they double block like this, so you can take the 7/7 and the 6/6 down. Yeah, they had two 7/7s, so you take one down and a 6/6, and then you're left with a 7/7. So this is going.
Giga hindsight, this thing ends up killing me. But I think I'm always gonna kill the 6/6 there.
Yeah, it seems. Yeah, I agree. Especially because you kind of want to start attacking. I feel like if the game goes long, you're just going to die anyway. Also, you can use the 4/4 to kill the 2/2 if you really wanted to. Okay, yeah. So they play Siege Gang. Okay, so you draw that. You could technically consider Amped Raptoring first, so you have more information. You have the mana, right? So maybe you Amped Raptor first. Or is there a reason that you held Amped Raptor? I guess.
Let me think. No, I don't think so. I think I was just playing fast.
Okay, yeah. So because I don't know if the score had some discard text, but I think it's discard itself or something. So
discard itself.
Yeah. So you go.
Oh shit! Whoops, my bad. Maybe part of the reason was they can kill my Amped Raptor.
Yeah. So you wanted to kill their Siege Gang? Sure, makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, you're gonna target their Siege Gang commander. Makes sense. That card seems hard to beat. So then they start shocking stuff, I guess. Okay, so you sack the guy. Seems reasonable, I guess. It's kind of a close choice because you value the blocker or the sack thing, but seems fine probably. Then you play this Amped Raptor.
This was bad.
You miss, I guess.
I missed. I hit this thing.
Yeah, so that would have been a good top deck, I guess. But and you have to pass because you can't attack. Sure. I mean, could you have attacked with the 7/8 there, or did he just want to leave a blocker back?
I could have. I guess in my head it's just I'm trading my 7/8 for their 7/7. It doesn't really do anything, but maybe it does do something.
Well, I think it's kind of good because you have you have 2/5, you have a 5/5, two 5/5s, and one of them is going to be a 6/6. So I think that's a good trade for you. I don't know if the shifting woodlands is on, and it's just you can't attack anyway. Doesn't look like it's on. Well, actually, this is
Kindred, it's 3, right?
yeah 3 types. So I guess they're 1 type off. So
Yeah.
maybe yeah. I guess because it might enable it to good attack, might be worth attacking.
I guess like the way, like I
Yeah.
can imagine like 7-8 into 7-7 we trade, and then maybe I can just start beating down with 5-5. Hopes they're just like holding 3 lands.
Yeah,
Because
that's
it's
that's
pretty
why I
good.
could see like it could be worth attacking. I mean, it's not crazy to hold it back, and
Yeah.
but also they do have this Pyro Surfer anyway. So like if they attack with their 7/7, you probably have to block anyway. To be fair, I mean you can have a better block because you can try and block with like a 5/5 and a 4/4. But yeah, I mean I would just consider attacking so that we can unlock our 5/5s to start attacking. But anyway, we can keep going. So they play that, sure. They play that. Okay, they can get back
Back to
Kozilek's
Kozilek.
command. I mean, yeah, you can. I don't know if their Pyro Surfer beats you. It looks like you just never win this. To be
Yeah.
fair, uh, so yeah, you sack something the Amdraptor. I mean, yeah, looks
Yeah.
pretty over. Like you have no choices. You can't do anything, and you're
Yeah.
just gonna
Yeah.
die.
They just own me.
Yeah,
I forgot. I remember I was like, maybe if they do something really dumb, I can win. But no, there was just no winning. Yeah, I'm done.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I guess.
Just next game, or yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know if you want to go for longer, but it already was like close to an hour. I don't know if you want to like slowly wrap it
Oh
up, or
yeah.
if you have time to keep going, or
Do you have time to keep going? I can keep going.
yeah, I could keep going if you want to go for a bit longer. But
Maybe
yeah,
click
it's
through
just
like
mentioning
one more
that.
game. Call it good.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
We can see. Yeah, I mean,
Alright.
yeah,
They're both like 7-turn games. I don't think it matters too much.
yeah,
I mean, honestly, I guess instead of going through another game, maybe I just like talking a little more, just like wrap it up. Because I mean, like I mentioned going in, it's like I feel like I've been kind of hitting a plateau in terms of like just like playing. Because I mean, even looking at this replay, it's like sure we did catch something. I would say like this turn where I could have just like regrowed and then like played a bit slower with my cards instead of just like doing a big stuff. But does like catching like one misplay like that like every couple VODs, is that like really, is that just how you're supposed to do it? Is that the only way to go forward?
I mean, I don't know if it's the only way to go forward, but I feel like if you watch your replays, and the thing is, the less mistakes you catch, the better of a player you are. Like if you look at your own replays and you just don't catch mistakes, then like you know, then that means you're probably a really good player and you're going to win a lot. So it's like good. And if you do catch a lot of mistakes, then you can find things to improve upon on. Like if you like feel like you hit a plateau, and you're like, I want to win like as much as this Manfield or whatever. I feel like it's a pretty good way to go forward because like I mean, what else? Like obviously there's other things you can do, right? But I mean, just going through the replays, being like, and if you don't catch like the more mistake, yeah. So I guess it's kind of like self-correcting. Like if you don't catch mistakes, that means that you're playing really well. And I feel like almost any player, like I feel like even if Paulo or whatever went to his replays, he would be finding mistakes or whatever,
Right.
and then be like, so I don't know. I feel like,
I
yeah,
guess the thing on my mind is like, is there better ways to do it? Like, I guess I come from like I'm not sure if you're familiar at all with like League of Legends, but that's like where I come from, and it's like on when you're like practicing, you're like trying to focus on improving like certain parts of your gameplay, where it's like, oh, maybe I'm trying to get better at sequencing, or maybe I'm trying to get better at my mulligan decisions, and I'm like being really intentional about what I'm doing with that. I've like tried something like that before, but I mean,
yeah. I
I
think
wasn't feeling it.
I
Yeah,
think a
sorry.
general replay is good for a few reasons. Because number one, you don't necessarily know what you're bad at. Like you have to
True.
have like it's like kind of like a doctor. It's like self-diagnosing your illnesses. I mean, maybe that's too extreme, but
I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, somebody might come up to me and be like, "I'm bad at mulligans," and I'll watch them play, and I'll be like, "No, you're bad at everything else too," or whatever. So I guess I would just like try and find mistakes in general, and I think it's pretty similar to in like League. I mean, I used to play Dota, so I'm like somewhat familiar. Like, just look through the games and be like, "What am I doing wrong? What can I do better?" And like maybe it is specific things you can focus on, but just in general, like yeah, I would just say just the decisions, in general. Like I would say focus on raising the floor of your worst decisions, which entails a lot of things. I mean, I think it is pretty good. I think it's like you just look through the replays, see what you're doing wrong, and or see what you're doing bad, and then you're like, okay, like I'll try and now you're more aware of what you're doing wrong in your games. It's like watching a league replay and being like, oh, I didn't realize that like I was doing this wrong or whatever. So I think it's pretty good. I mean, it's one of the best ways I know. Like if you're stuck in a plateau, I feel like it's a pretty good way. Yeah, I would definitely recommend watching replays just because like I guess it like lets you know what to work on, right? Like let's say you watch your own replays and you're like, I never know if I'm supposed to mulligan or not. Now you know, okay, I should think about mulligans more. Or you watch your replays like and you're like, oh, I never got to sideboard. Like watching your replays will kind of instruct you on what you should be working on, I guess. I think it's probably one of the best ways. It's just watching your replays. Like I think I heard in an interview Javier said that like half his practice is he like watches the replay of every single game he plays basically. I think it's pretty good. I think, yeah, because the thing is, like, when you play a live game, it's hard to, like, fully think through every decision you make. So you make a lot of decisions, but it's hard to, like, be like, were they actually the right ones? When you go back to watch the replay, then you can see all the decisions and be like, okay, I made this decision for this reason. Was it good or bad? Why? So, yeah, so I guess I would say I think watching replays is good for that reason, yeah.
I know one more follow up on that. I don't know. I'm just curious, like, what does your practice look like? Like, I don't know if you play every day. I don't know if you just like play when you like feel like playing like, a particular set. But like, if you're like really tryharding, like really trying to like win or get better or whatever, like, what are you doing like day to day? Yeah.
Yeah, if there's like a specific tournament that's coming up, I would say ideally what I would do is okay, like so if it's constructed, I mean that's one of those things like it'll be like there's a balance of like trying to find the deck to play and trying to play it well. So like you might have like let's say there's a standard tournament coming up, like let's say you're playing the Worlds next month or whatever. I would kind of have like you're obviously trying to find a deck, and that's one thing, right? So you might have questions about like like let's say you're trying to find a deck that has its own set of questions, right? And like there might be some tournaments where you already know what deck you're going to play. So I guess I would kind of be like organized about the things I'm trying to figure out. So like one thing I would say is I just want to play a reasonable deck. I want to play a deck that's like solid, whatever. So that's like one thing I'm focusing on. Then the other thing I'm focusing on is like how do I play my deck well? So okay, I guess like the first answer to the question, if I'm tryharding for a tournament, I guess I would say it's like a bit contextual based on the format. But like if it's constructed, I would be trying to figure out a deck to play, and then I would want to really know like how to play the deck in every matchup. Let's say I'm playing Belcher in Modern, I would want to know how do I play like what's my plan against Energy? Like I would want to be like what's my plan against Energy? What's my plan in all these matchups? And I want to like figure out the matchups for myself, see sideboard, like figure out my sideboard plans, whatever, and like come to plans that I like in every matchup, if that makes sense. So I'd be like, yeah, constructed. I want to figure out a deck. I want to be like, why do I play the deck? I want to make sure it makes sense. It can be tense because sometimes like as you test the deck, then you'll be like, I don't know if I want to play this deck anymore or whatever. So it gets tricky. But I guess like, yeah, just have questions in mind. Like a question would be like, you're testing Belcher and it's like, today I want to test Belcher against Energy or whatever. So I would have questions like that. I would be doing that. I try and watch my own replays because I heard that Javier said he does that like every game he plays, he watches his replays.
Yeah.
It can be, so I would try to do that. But, I think that would be fruitful to do. I think that would be good to do for a lot of reasons. Especially one reason for Magic players, it might make Magic players, more humble so that they'll slow down. And people might make mistakes because they play too fast because they think they're too good. So if you watch your replays, you'll see a lot of mistakes. It'll make you, slow down more, whatever.
Yeah.
For draft, obviously, it's a bit different. I mean, I like to play the single elims on Moto. For draft, I would say, do single elims. And then after I do a draft, this is actually important for limited. Actually, maybe it's important for testing in general. After playing, I like to be like, try and think about what did I learn from when I played. Yeah, I would say that's a big thing. Like I wouldn't just say like jam random games. Like if I play a league, I would try and do a short write-up even for myself after to be like, what did I learn from this league? Or like if I draft a deck, what did I learn? Because the problem is if you just jam games and you never stop to think about what you learned, you might not actually be getting anywhere. Actually, one thing, I'll give an example, is like I was like telling my friend, I'm like, every time you do a draft, you should like write for yourself what were your biggest takeaways from the draft. And then he was like, oh, well, what if I didn't learn anything from the draft? And I'm like, okay, if you didn't learn anything from the draft, what was the point of even doing the draft? Like, I mean, like if you're preparing, like that was not preparation. I'm like, maybe you could call that you're doing it for fun. But if you're saying I'm preparing for an event, if you're not learning for anything, like it's literally, if you didn't learn anything from the draft, that means you didn't get any preparation value. So I would say like try and understand, like what takeaways you're having. Be conscious of it. Like when you play a league, be like, I learned this. And even if it's a small thing, try and always have takeaways from when you're playing. Try not just jam games. Like if you play for 5 hours, try and be after the 5 hours, what did I learn? Even if it's a small thing. Because like,
Yeah.
yeah, people might be like, oh, I learned subconsciously, but it helps bring it to light more. So I would say whenever I play afterwards, try and be like, what were my takeaways from it? Try and watch my own replays and try and play with questions in mind. And then like afterwards, think about what I learned from it. Like maybe I start the day and I'm like, I want to test Belcher against Energy, and then I learn, oh, Voice of Victory is like really problematic, whatever. So I would say that's kind of what it entails. Yeah, like have questions, try and answer them, try and see that I'm learning, stuff like that. I don't know if you have any more questions on preparation or stuff.
No, that was great. Yeah, I really liked. You said something. What was it? Organized about the things you're figuring out. Yeah, I really like that. That makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely helps if you just even have simple questions like this is what I want to figure out today, whatever. Yeah, I want to test this matchup more. I mean, I guess one thing I would say that I've learned is that like a lot of times the most valuable thing I find in constructed tournaments is literally just practicing 1v1 games of the most popular matchup. Like it might sound asinine, but like most people probably were not doing this. Like probably the most important thing for playing these VV tournaments was literally just sitting down and playing VV mirrors. And like just like your takeaways, like learn how to play them better. And like yeah, because when you go to a tournament, a GP, whatever, the thing you're gonna do the most is you're gonna play against the most popular decks the most often. And to some people it might seem obvious. They're like, oh, it's the most popular deck. Like I don't need to test against Energy because I already understand Energy. But like in reality, it's gonna be valuable to like just play more games against the most popular deck, even though it might not seem that exciting. Even though it might seem like, oh, what can I learn from playing against Energy? Like often, if you play Belcher against Energy, you're gonna get a better understanding of the matchup. So yeah, I would stress like that's like one of my biggest regrets is sometimes like I'll play against the Brew before the tournament, and then like I'll play the tournament and I'll be like, man, I played against Energy 4 times and I barely practiced against it. Like
Right.
I got a better plan after. So I would say definitely like try and play against the decks in the tournament, which might sound asinine, but I'm pretty sure like most people are definitely not doing this enough, like for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like especially like intentionally, like trying to figure
Yeah.
stuff out about the
Or,
matchup.
or they'll just assume like people will just assume, oh, it's like I should understand it like intrinsically. Like let's say let's say the biggest matchup of the format is blue black against mono red. People will be like, oh, mono red's so popular. Like they'll kind of assume that they should understand the way the mono red deck works without playing against it enough. If you see what I mean. Like it's kind of the way like people in modern will like play against Energy and they'll just like copy paste the same sideboard plans, but they won't try and figure it out for themselves. But like I've definitely found that yeah, just play against the popular decks and come to your own understanding of it rather than just assume rather than just be like, oh, Energy's a simple deck, I should assume how to play against it. Just play it yourself because it's like there's one time I played like Rhinos at the Pro Tour and I like barely played with it, and after the Pro Tour I'm like, man, like I can't believe like it would like even though this deck was like so quote unquote like yeah, just realize like get reps with the matchups even if you think the matchup's obvious because that can be hard to do. It can seem boring or whatever, but I think it's obviously valuable when you think about it. Like I was like for the last whatever thing, what's it called, GP or Spotlight, I kept telling people like you should literally just be practicing VV mirrors, and like a lot of people were like, I don't want to do that. They're like, no, I need to practice against like not the VV mirrors. And then like all the guys I talked to who played the event, they're like, yeah, I played half the round with VV mirrors. I'm like, yeah, that would have been like the most fruitful the most fruitful practice would have been playing the mirrors, even though it seems obvious. Like a lot of times doing what seems obvious is what's good. I mean, I don't know. It might be like in League. It's like, I mean, maybe it's more obvious there, but it's like you should play the meta heroes, right? Like you should not be playing like the tier like the worst heroes in the game, but or whatever. Because people like, I guess the thing to like the bias is pretty obvious. It's that like when you play against unknown stuff, it feels like you're learning more, so it seems productive. But it's kind of that's a good analogy. It's like in League, like just because you're playing against the worst hero that nobody's playing, it does not mean you're more productive testing. It's more productive to play against the most popular heroes, even if you already have somewhat of an understanding of it. Because when you go to play a tournament, you're going to be playing against the meta heroes like most of the time. Right. So that's kind of the analogy I would use. Like Magic players definitely are way overcorrected on the like, oh, I need to play against the heroes that nobody plays because I'm going to learn more because I don't know what it's about. So what were you saying?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say it's like grinding out those extra percentage points against like the popular stuff is like what's most important instead of like getting the first 50 against like random garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
I mean, I'm not trying to say never play against random stuff, but I'm just trying to say like make sure that you play against the popular stuff. Like there's way too many people who just they don't even play against the popular stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that's most of what I have to say.
That's what I got too. Yeah, cool. Thanks, man. This was helpful. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah. Have a good day unless you have anything more you want to add.
Nope, that's all for me. Yeah, you have a good day too. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay,
Peace.
bye.